What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another Pokemon Masters video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about, once again, kind of a video to help you guys out that are just getting into the game. So when you first get into the game and you are starting to play through and deciding whether or not you want to actually start playing or not, it comes down to what are you going to reroll for. So for those of you who don't know what rerolling is, it is essentially restarting the game over and over again and, you know, keep summoning with the little amount of gems that you get at the start to try and summon for a good character to launch your account off, helping you out in the early stages of your account. So that's the main reason why people reroll in the first place. Now, a massive shout out to the Pokemon Masters Discord server. I'll leave a link to their Discord server down below in the description and also pinned in the comment section, because there is a massive community of people that have been, you know, basically discussing Pokemon Masters since its inception, and there's a lot of great resources over there as well, and we'll go through a couple of different resources as well. Well, mainly the WordPress website, which has a lot of information relating to all of the characters that you guys will be seeing in Pokemon Masters, and also we have information about characters that haven't even been released yet. They've just data that's been in the game, so we'll also potentially go through that in another video. But in this video today, I want to talk about this tier list that was made up by the community over on the Pokemon Masters subreddit Discord, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. So obviously S tier is the characters you want to go ahead and reroll for. We'll actually go through their abilities so you guys understand why these characters are as good as what they are. And then you got the A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. So what I would try and suggest to you guys is, I don't really know how many gems you get per reroll. I think you get about 1,000, so it gives you, you know, about, you know, what, 3, 4, maybe 5 pulls per reroll. It could be even more. I don't actually know how many you get per reroll, but I would say at least try and get one S tier character, and if you can get like anyone else in the next couple tiers down, that would obviously be great. Getting multiple characters in S tier is going to be fantastic as well. So let's actually go ahead and start talking about each of the S tier characters and discuss why they're so good. So here we have Brendan. Now we're over on the WordPress website right now. If you guys want this website, it'll be down below in the description once again. So Brendan and Trico, really unfortunate the fact that Trico actually does not evolve. He doesn't evolve into Grovyle and Sceptile, and it's really weird because some of the dungeons that you go through, or some of the missions that you go through, where Brendan is an enemy, he does have Sceptile. So I hope that they introduce his evolution in the future. I think that would be awesome, but we will have to wait and see for that. But here we have Brendan and Trico, obviously grass type, weak to poison type, and they are a physical strike unit. So it means that they are mainly, you know, dealing physical attacks, of course. So these are their base stats, and the WordPress website shows you their max level stats, so at level 100, and it shows their ranking compared to every other sync pair in the game. So you can see in terms of speed, they're the 3rd fastest sync pair in the game. In terms of their special attack, 5th highest in the game, and physical attack, 6th highest in the game. So overall, amazing statistics overall. Let's go ahead and talk about his moves. So Bullet Seed is his first attack. It is a physical attack, and it says attacks the target 2 to 5 times in a row. It doesn't really deal that much damage, and it does cost 2 move gauge, which is kind of annoying. This move doesn't seem that great. You definitely want to try and get your materials up as fast as possible to start unlocking the other moves. Dire Hit is a fantastic move. A lot of sync pairs have this. It basically just increases their critical hit chance. Critical hits are very important in Pokemon Masters, enabling you to KO the main enemy as fast as possible using critical hits. Sometimes the enemies have like defensive effects that can reduce critical hits or ignore them, but definitely raising his own critical hit chance is fantastic. Leaf Storm, a special move, obviously is going to be his main target of his attack. Sharply lowers the user's special attack, which is kind of annoying, but he does have a status move which is called No Turning Back, and it says uses the maximum of 3 slots of the user's move gauge, and it says based on the amount of move gauges that you used, it will go ahead and raise the user's attack and special attack up to a maximum of 6. This is a great move. So The way that you could possibly use this is you could just go ahead and use Leaf Storm off the bat, and then once you get reduced stats, you can use No Turning Back and then get buffed stats once again. Or alternatively, you can do it the other way around, you know, use No Turning Back, you get a bunch of stats straight off the bat, and then you can spam out a couple Leaf Storms straight away. I think that is one of the great, you know, uses of using a character like this. The fact that he can get to his max stats extremely quickly and start spamming out Leaf Storms, and you can definitely partner this up with a character that replenishes your move gauge, such as Rosa or like Phoebe and Dusclops. So there's lots of different opportunities to use this character. I think he's great. His sync move is just a regular physical grass attack with no additional effect. Passive skill, he can't get his speed lowered, which is great. Prevents the Pokemon from being paralyzed. Paralysis hasn't been seen too common at the moment in Masters, but that could definitely change sometime in the future. So basically, he's just like an all-out attacker, get stats, do lots and lots of damage. And as I said, partnering him up with a unit that can replenish his move gauge is going to be your best bet for Brendan and Trico. Now, the second character on S tier is Karen. Now, if you guys saw my previous video where I actually did a multi-summon and stuff, you can see that Karen is definitely one of my most used characters, and for good reason. She is one of the best attackers in the game. If not, I'd probably say she is the best attacker in the game until Blue and Pidgeot come out, which kind of replace Houndoom and Karen. But you can see here it's Mega Houndoom, and now you get access to Mega Houndoom by activating the sync move of Karen and Houndoom. So you start off as regular Houndoom, but then when you get the sync move, boom, you Mega Evolve, which is great. So now she's a dark unit, which is great, and weakness to fighting is fine, and she's a special based unit. She does have a physical attack as well, but she's mainly based on using special attacks. Now, the thing with using her, look at her stats, right? Number 3 overall for special attack is just amazing, and number 2 for speed overall. So overall has more special attack and more speed than what the Brendan and Trico sync pair had. And then the rest of her stats are still really good. Now, as for her moves, now she has Snarl. Now, this is her Mega Evolved move set. When she's regular Houndoom, she does have a move replace, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is on both versions of Houndoom. Snarl, which is her main attack that you'll be using, where it will go ahead and just deal AoE damage and lower all enemy special attack. Fantastic move, very, very powerful. Die Hit raises her own critical hit chance, which is the same as Brendan and Trico. Now, Dark Pulse is a move that she gains upon Mega Evolving. Prior to the Mega Evolution, she has Bite, which is a physical attack and isn't really that good, but when you have Dark Pulse, it does a significant amount of damage, and it has a chance to flinch the enemy as well. Once you do Mega Evolve and you want to try and take down one of the enemies as fast as possible, this is your main target attack. It is a 3 move gauge cost, so you definitely want to have someone to replenish that move gauge, especially if you are relying on Karen and Houndoom to be your main attacker. So I definitely think that, you know, she's just fantastic. She does so much damage. Entertain Me is also another reason why she is so good, because it says the lower the HP that this character has, the more you get special attack. This is a fantastic move, especially after the enemy has inflicted a sync move on you and you get lowered stats and all your stats get reset. Then activating Entertain Me straight after that is so good. You get so much stats back, and it's just a great way to even kickstart you off as well if you don't have another unit to raise your character's special attack. Now, her sync move is just damage and also becomes Mega Houndoom. Now, because she does Mega Evolve, you can see that the sync move doesn't do as much damage as what Brendan and Trico did, so that is a little bit of a trade-off. So in terms of her passive skills, Flame Proof, she can't be burned. Wide Awake, she can't fall asleep. As I said, status conditions aren't that common in Pokemon Masters right now, but in the future, that might be important. Okay, so now talking about the next S tier character, which is going to be Olivia and Lycanroc. Now, I love the fact that Olivia and Lycanroc already get a 5-star. I think it's a fantastic choice, to be honest. There are a couple of characters that kind of deserve a 5-star. I'm sure they'll get one in the future, but this is a really obscure choice, and I really actually dig it. She's a rock unit, and she is weak to grass. She is a physical attacker, and in terms of her stats, number 2 overall in terms of physical attack. Now, unfortunately, the rest of her stats are reasonably low in comparison to some of the other sync pairs that are in the game. I mean, look at the speed, only rank 30, rank 40 for special defense. Obviously, with the attacker units, their stats aren't really going to be that important in terms of the other ones. You want to make sure at least they have really good attacking stats. And speed, Speed is somewhat important, but you can definitely get around that with move gauge, replenishing attacks, and stuff like that. So in terms of her moves, she has Rock Throw, which is just a regular attack, just a regular physical rock move, nothing really too crazy. It does only cost 1 move gauge, so it's not too bad, 1 move gauge for that amount of damage. That is pretty decent. 90% accuracy, I'm not a big fan of though. She has X Attack, where she will sharply raise her own attack, so I believe that is a 2-stage increase, allowing her to just buff her own attack to deal more damage. She has Stone Edge as well. 80% accuracy is kind of annoying, but it says lands critical hits more easily, which is the main thing about using Olivia and Lycanroc, is the fact that critical hits are going to be the most important factor of this unit. Hard as Diamonds is her final attack, which will sharply raise this user's accuracy and critical hit rate, so that's always going to be nice, and sharply lower the user's special defense. So it is a trade-off, you know, high risk, high reward. Getting more accuracy is fantastic, obviously making her Stone Edge hit more often. It is a 3-cost move gauge move, so again, it's nice to have a unit that can replenish your move gauge if this is your dedicated attacker on your team. Now, for her sync move, regular rock damage, but you can see that is humongous, up to 300 damage with her sync move. That is fantastic. And for her passive skill, this is another really cool reason why this unit is so good. Raises the Pokemon speed when it lands a critical hit, and obviously if you use the hardest diamonds, you get a higher critical hit chance. Her Stone Edge will land more easily because of Heart of Diamonds, and also has higher chance of critical hits. So the more critical hits you land, the faster this unit becomes, and it's just going to be hitting like a truck. So Lycanroc and Olivia are a very, very interesting, powerful physical attacker. The next character is going to be Phoebe and Dusclops, one of my favorite units in the game. This unit is so freaking good. So Dusclops and Phoebe are a ghost unit. They are weak to dark, but they are a support type unit. So previously we've only talked about the attackers in the game. This is a unit that helps support your other attackers, and she is so good. So in terms of her stats, look at the defense. Number 1 in the game for defense, number 2 in the game for special defense. So that just goes to show, you know, this unit is going to be quite hard to take down. Unfortunately, her HP is a little low. I would have preferred it if her HP was a little higher to then further enhance her tankiness, but still can't really complain about that. Now, in terms of her moves, her first move is a regular attack Shadow Punch. It never misses. Pretty decent damage for a 2 move gauge cost. Pretty awesome. For Die Hit All, so this is a very, very important attack. So it increases the critical hit chance of your entire team. All your allies get a buffed increased rate to their critical hit. So that is awesome. Unbreakable Bonds is her other move, which is a status type move, where it says the lower the user's HP is, the more this move raises the move gauge. So it replenishes your move gauge as well as boosting physical attack of your entire team. That is, again, another crazy support unit, allowing you to get... So this unit overall, from what we're seeing so far, critical hit up, attack up, and move gauge replenishment for your whole team. Like, this unit's great. And then she has Double Edge as well. So, you know, if worse comes to worse and you need to start using this unit to attack with, she actually hits pretty hard. You know, Double Edge does a lot of damage towards the enemies. There are times when I've, like, hit auto and I've been running through content and legit, like, the auto will let the Phoebe and Dusclops use the Double Edge to just kill everything. Now, yes, you do take 25% of the damage that you dealt, but you do a lot of damage, and if you can KO the enemy before you die, well, then that's fine, right? This unit's pretty strong. I mean, you know, as I said, if it comes down to it, you can use this, but mainly you're using it for the support type effects that Phoebe and Dusclops give you. Her sync move is just a regular ghost type move with some pretty serious damage. She has different abilities or passive abilities. Pass It On transfers half of the amount of this sync pair's raised stats to the sync pair that will switch in when this sync pair faints. Now, this only really applies to co-op missions. So what happens is, as it says, if this character has a bunch of stat increases and it dies and you switch in another Pokemon or a new sync pair, then half of the buffs that were on Dusclops get put onto your new Pokemon. Pretty interesting type of passive. And then Vigilance is the other passive. This Pokemon is protected against critical hits. This is nice, you know, obviously, you know, we talked about Olivia and Lycanroc before. If there is an enemy that is like that, then this unit is kind of just immune to that. And it means that, you know, if it is a Lycanroc type unit, then they won't get their additional buffs from hitting critical hits. So pretty interesting move, pretty awesome Pokemon overall. And as I said, one of the best support units in the game, if not the best support unit in the game outside of Rosa. Now, the last unit in the S rank tier, and the unit we're going to end this video on, is going to be Will and Zatu. Now, this unit is pretty interesting, right? It is actually a 4-star unit, so it is a lot more accessible to many people, as it's not a 5-star unit, which has a much lower rate to be pulled. This unit is very, very intriguing. So Flying Psychic type, only weak to Electric in Pokemon Masters, is a Tech type unit, the only Tech type unit in the S tier so far. As for the stats, looking at the stats, you wouldn't think this unit is that good, but there is a very, very specific reason why this unit is as good as what he is. Unfortunately, I haven't been lucky enough to pull him yet. I really hope I can get him sometime in the future. He is really, really good. So, first attack, Stored Power. It is a Psychic type attack, special attack. The more the user's stats are raised, meaning the unit, Zatu itself, the more stats you have increased, the greater the power of this attack. Now, I do not know the calculations of this attack, but the stats you can get off of this attack are crazy. Like, this unit can do some serious damage with this. So the main way you want to be using this character, surround this character with other characters that can buff his stats. Namely Rosa and Dusclops, which I talk about them a lot, but they're like the craziest support units in the game right now. So by using those two characters and a character like this, you can get a lot of your stats increased and allow your stored power to do lots of damage to the enemy. He also has Confuse Ray as a utility-based attack, confusing the enemy. Pretty good, and it always hits as well, unlike the games, pretty awesome. Our power is limitless as another status type attack. If any of the target stats have been raised, the user raises the same stats that are raised by double that amount. Another crazy ability. Even if you don't even have to bring, stat increases on your team. It is easier to do so, but if the enemy is that type of enemy where they just keep raising their stats, you can just keep raising your stats as well. So even in another situation as well, you could bring units that buff your own special attack or physical attack, and if the enemy buffs their defense, you can use this to steal their defensive buffs as well. Another crazy ability, which then will increase stored power. Then you've got Air Slash as well as just a regular attack as well, that allows you to potentially flinch the enemy as well, and he has a sync move of dealing pretty good psychic type damage. Now, this all seems well and good, but the main reason why this unit is so high up on this tier list is because of his passive skill, Impervious. Stats cannot be lowered, so you can raise your stats as much as you want for your stored power, and no matter what, you will always keep your stats. Now, the main reason why this is good is because when the enemy applies a sync move onto your team, all your stats get reset. So if you have the Impervious ability, you don't lose your stats. So Will and Zatu are always going to be dealing crazy damage towards the enemy, and for a 4-star unit, this unit's crazy. So that's the full rundown of the S tier of the tier list. I could sit here for ages talking about these characters, but as I said, if you get 1 or 2 of these characters in S tier, you're good to go. There will be the banner of Blue and Pidgeot arriving very, very soon. I believe it's September 2, 3, or 4, coming very soon to Pokemon Masters. I'll definitely be uploading a summoning video for him. He looks crazy. And to give a basic rundown of Blue that's coming out soon, imagine Karen, which we talked about earlier, but buffed. It's basically a buffed version of Karen. So you could potentially wait until Blue comes out, or you could have an account, re-roll an account, and then potentially, get him later on. So it is what it is. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys want to go check out the Discord server, make sure to go check the links down below in the description and in the pinned comments, and also for the WordPress website, if you guys want this as well, will be down below in the description. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more Pokemon Masters content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.